Hello and welcome to the Fulhamish quick take after our 3-0 victory over Spurs at Craven Cottage. Dan is here. Hello.
Hello, hello.
Happy?
Oh, so happy. That was great. That was so fun. I loved that.
We were pretty magic today. As I say, 3 goals to 0 against Tottenham Hotspur. We're here at the Craft Beer Club. Thank you so much to them for putting us up, for providing us with the beers. If you're at a loose end before or after a match at Craven Cottage, Hammersmith Tube Station, pop into Craft Beer Club. They have a lovely selection of beers. Hello as well to everyone that commented in the comments on the Jack and Joe show. Hi everybody. Hope you're having a good Saturday. Dan.
Never count your chickens too early. I tell you, like Spurs fans, I think they've got a little bit ahead of themselves. You know, I think they need to retain that awareness of like. I think there is a little bit of a mutual thing where Spurs fans look at Spurs sometimes the same way we look at Fulham, where it's like, it doesn't matter how good we are capable of just like dropping a bollock at any point in the season with no explanation needed, which it just goes wrong. And I feel like some Spurs fans have just bought into handball a little bit too much.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
I got it, I get it. It was good against Aston Villa, but some of the comments in that video, have a look at it. They haven't aged too well. Let's move on from that and discuss what a brilliant win. Whilst actually, in hindsight, I thought we were a little bit giddy about the win against Brighton. Maybe actually there were some flaws. Today was pretty much perfect.
Yeah. And from very early on as well, like I think about 2 minutes in, we'd touched the ball once and it was a toss-in clearing header. And then I think inside the 3rd minute, it was like a perfect example of how the game panned out was a sloppy pass from Spurs and we just flew down the other end. Lovely bit of interplay, ended up with a shot, didn't quite go in. But that was, I think that really set the tone. And that whole first half, we were just ticking. Like, it was just so good. It was like a good game to watch as well. I imagine it's one of those games that anyone who was watching who doesn't really care about either side of it would have enjoyed that, because it was attacking football both ways. But I just thought Fulham were more refined. We were a bit cleaner in the way we put it together. I thought Spurs were sloppy, and we just capitalised. And actually, again, if we dig for criticisms, and I think we did it against Brighton, and we said it after Wolves, we probably could have been more than 1-0 up at half-time. We had our chances, and I think that's amazing given how we started this season, where not only were we not scoring, but we weren't creating. Marco has found a formula of how to create chances and goals with this team.
So yeah, my small post-match research was that this time last season, after 29 games, we were just 1 point better off. The record-breaking season that was last year, where Fulham did so well, and yet at this exact same stage, just 1 point less. And when you look at the fixtures coming up, Sheffield United, Forest, Newcastle, West Ham, okay, 3 or 4 of those are away from home, not expecting 12 points. It's incredible.
Yeah, and it sounds wrong, doesn't it? It does. It sounds a little bit wrong because their last season, and I think it was because the expectation was lower. Last season just felt fun all the way through, and this season it feels like we've spluttered and we've had hiccups, and we feel like we're going somewhere, and then a result like Wolves pulls us back down. But actually, what an effort! And again, we said it after the Brighton game. What an effort from Marco this has been, like to pull together a little bit odds and sods of a squad at times, given the injuries we've had, given the transfers that came in and out. I think he's done an amazing job. And another thing I saw was that's now 9 home wins from 15, which is incredible. And our home form puts us 7th in the league. Now, we all know how horrific our away form is, but like, it sort of reminds me back in those. Do you remember back in those Roy days where Craven Cottage really was a fortress? And I think people take the piss, but no, like, there have been times in our history where Craven Cottage, we have just made it our home, and we get results there. And you look at the scalps we picked up now: Spurs, Brighton, Arsenal. Like, there's some really big wins in there, and it's nice to go. I thought the Cottage was balancing today. I thought it was really good in the hammy end. It's just that real good feel factor at home.
Yeah, and it's also turned from last season, Fulham beating the teams that we'd expect to beat, and now, I mean, you just mentioned 3 of them there. If you include United at Old Trafford as well, I mean, it's just a shame there isn't a little bit more consistency. That's got to be improved on. But Fulham are, I genuinely think, a match for everyone. Well, I would say outside the top 3, but then again, we've beaten one of those this season. No, I don't think any team right now relishes a trip to Craven Cottage.
No, no, and it's quite fun that we've got a chance to affect the title, don't we? You look at Liverpool and City coming here, and no one's going to want to do it, because I think the way that we play really lends ourselves. Like, we were happy for Spurs at times today to have the ball for prolonged periods of time, because we trusted in our backline. I thought Tosin Bassey partnership is so fun and great to watch, because I think there's still like an element of like refinement that needs to happen in Calvin Bassey. But there was a moment today when I think he was a little bit late to a challenge, didn't quite get there. Kulusevski went round him, but it's fine because Calvin Bassey is ridiculously quick, and he just spun round, nicked the ball off him and went away again. And there's something so fun about the way that they link up. There was a moment when the ball went long and Calvin Bassey made a big call to go and get it, and he just ducked underneath it, let it roll back to toss in, and we started playing again. And that back four setup worked really well. I think for me, as fantastic as Rodrigo Muniz was today, I think Anthony Robinson was my man of the match.
Yeah.
I thought he was amazing. And actually, I thought he had a bit of a shaky first 10 as well, because he was pressed really hard down in that left-hand corner in the first half. And it felt like maybe Spurs had worked out how to nullify Fulham's threat going forward. But then after that, defensively and going forward, it's unbelievable.
Well, look, Rodrigo Muniz takes the plaudits, but I think that first goal is Anthony Robinson. It was so good that I thought it was Willian until I'd seen the replay. That's how good it was. I was like, wow, what a ball from Willian. And then I was like, oh, that was Anthony Robinson. And actually, like today, you heard the Hammersmith end chanting his name several times. It doesn't happen.
I think it's long
for Anthony
overdue.
Robinson.
I think it's long overdue. I think I get the perception to him at times, and the reception that he gets, because he can be frustrating. But there is no way anyone can say that he is not a pivotal player in this side. Like, he is one of our most influential players. And when you talk about first names on the team sheet, no one's ever questioning who's starting the left back.
Yeah.
No one's going like, oh, I wonder who's going to be in the left. Like,
Sure, Joe Bryan, he can still. we could.
we could get him back in. I mean, he would have delivered a ball like that as well, in fairness, Joe Bryan. But yeah, it's a fantastic ball. The work to get up there as well is brilliant. We know he's good at that. To put a ball in like that, and I actually thought the finish from Rodrigo is brilliant. It's not just the touch and then the finish was so cultured, and like that was a confident centre forward. I think Rodrigo Muniz 4 months ago maybe tries to hit that first time and shins it out for a goal kick, or takes about 8 touches and doesn't get a shot off. But this was like one touch, bang, bottom corner, just brilliant. And then when you think his second goal is like almost like the antithesis of that, it's just like a proper poacher's goal. The first one is like a proper centre forward who knows his art, is aware of the space around him, knows where to run. And the second one is just instinctive. I'm going to get in there. I'm going to give it my all to try and get on the end of this ball. And he did. And what a complete performance from him.
Yeah. I mean, I was chatting to Ian in the bar earlier, and he just said, like, Rodrigo's transfer value is going up by a couple of million a week. Like,
Yeah.
it just, 7 in 7 now. And whilst actually I think you're right that maybe today he isn't man of the match, I think there are other worthy candidates, he's still so influential. And yeah, it was a poacher's goal for the second and a real cultured finish for the first. Raul is back in the frame, and that's nice to see him coming back off the bench, and it was a good option to have him. But wow, like this guy is going to hit double figures, and he basically started playing in February.
Imagine if he hits double figures.
I mean, he's got 9 games and needs 3 goals. Like, surely.
Yeah. And like, how many players do you see bully Christian Romero, who I'd say is one of the hard nuts of Premier League centre-backs, like, and drag us in on debut? I thought it was an absolute schooling on how to be a striker. Like, he really bullied the two of them. The headers he won, the strength just to hold it up and bring others into play. We've said this, it's just this past month and a half, he's just learned how to, not learned how to play football, but he's learned how to be effective. And I think that's so important. And it's just so lovely to see. Everyone in the team loves him. The fans love him scoring goals. It just makes me really happy. I was actually a little bit emotional after his second goal when he finally managed to pick himself up, and he just had his little moment in front of the Hammersmith end where he stuck his arms out and he pulled the Fulham badge down and pointed at it, and he just like, that's what growth we've witnessed in a human being. Like, it's so lovely.
Yeah, I think now, like, you know, we keep talking about Rodrigo Muniz and will it last? I think he has until the end of the season now, undoubtedly. Like, he just... And it's not just the goals. I'm trying to look past, you know, yes, 7 and 7 is super impressive. But for me, it's also like the flicks, the things he's winning. You know, there was a couple of moments in the first half where he set up a Wobie. And I think it is some of that, you know, all-round play, really, that is coming into it. Sasa Lukic got the second off his knee.
Off his knee.
Obviously, though, Sasha's performance and Sasha's renaissance in the last... you know, 3 or 4 games has been incredible. I thought it was another good performance from him in the middle, but I liked seeing Polina back. We are a better team with him. There is no debate.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. But that is the midfield that I wanted to see today. I really did want to see Polina alongside Lukic, because Lukic just merited being in that side, but you need to bring Joao back in. And I do think we missed a trick a little bit last week, not bringing him back in, but you know, it was a strong moral decision by Marco, and I respect that. But today, I thought they paired up brilliantly. I thought Joao was superb. Like, he was brilliant. And actually, funny, in a game where I think a lot of the play missed him at times, but in possession, great. And then some of the challenges were fantastic. And I annoyed again that whilst I think his yellow card was deserved, there were like 4 other fouls before that came that didn't get booked for. And I've said this before, he's getting booked on reputation now, and it's really starting to irk me because it costs us. But Lukic alongside him, I thought was almost like equally combative, and he has really worked on this in his game. And I think 4 months ago, he just looked like he wasn't... I mean, 4 months is generous. 2 months ago, he looked like he didn't have the physicality needed to play in the Premier League.
Well, Chelsea, I'll never forget his cameo against Chelsea away, where I was like, I'm not 100% sure you can control a football.
Yeah.
And again, like, we write players off and we say they're not good enough. We did it with Rodrigo Muniz. We did it with Sasha Lukic. I thought Sasha Lukic was going to get sold in the January transfer window after that kind of 0 out of 10 of a cameo. And now here he is scoring goals at the Hammersmith end. I mean, it was off his knee, but they all count, and it's a lovely moment.
I'm really trying to work out whether you can give him credit for it being a good finish, and I think you just about can. It's intentional. There's no way of knowing. There's no way of actually controlling it off your knee into the goal perfectly intentionally. But that is what he's trying to do. He is trying to knee that ball into the goal. It just so happens that he places it perfectly in the far corner, which is ridiculous. But yeah, I thought it was a great performance, and again, another vindication of what a fantastic coach Marco Silva is in bringing players into the fold and coaching them. And you know, a lot of the best Marco signings seem to do just take a little bit of time, and they get that little bit of time. And I'd written him off. I really wasn't sold on him, and it was lovely for him to get that goal, because it has been super tough for him. And when you think that our midfield today of Polina, Pereira, and Lukic was coming up against a ridiculously good midfield, like Ibasuma, Pape Matar Sarr, and James Maddison, I looked at that midfield 3 and just thought, I don't know how we cope with that, because you've got such a lovely balance in there of creativity and a bit of craft and strength and pace. And actually, our midfield was better. Our midfield was just better. They were sloppy in possession at times, Spurs, but when we won the ball back, it was through dedication from our midfield, and then the ability to get up and make things happen. And I just, like, for our midfield 3 to out midfield theirs is pretty impressive.
Thank you to NordVPN for sponsoring this episode of the Fulhamish Quick Take. NordVPN is the easiest way to watch football matches and TV shows which aren't available in your region. You can also use it to protect your identity online, and you can benefit from things like cheaper flights by switching your virtual location. I use NordVPN all the time to watch ESPN Plus, which is a subscription I have that's only available in America. If I want to watch anything that's on there, I just switch my location to the USA. Hey presto, I can watch it. No fuss, really easy. And you can use up one account on up to 6 devices. So my dad sometimes logs in and uses my NordVPN subscription, and that's absolutely okay. And you can get a great deal on NordVPN right now by going to nordvpn.com/Fulhamish. You get 4 free months. Plus, if you're in the UK, USA, Canada, or Australia, you'll get a free Uber Eats voucher when you sign up using that link. So to benefit from that great rate, plus 4 free months, plus the Uber Eats voucher if you're in any of those locations, go to nordvpn.com/Fulhamish.
Where do we go from here then? Obviously, now is the international break. There's 9 games left, unless I'm mistaken, for Fulham. You have got a couple of toughies in there. You've got Liverpool and City. But right now, you know, with a couple of weeks off, everyone's going to go to Dubai or wherever they go in the March international break, or they're going to go away with their nations. And I just look at a sea of opportunity. I remember thinking after Wolves, oh, maybe the whole top 10's gone, and now 8th is Europe, pretty much. Is it still happening, or are we being too reactive game by game? Because after Wolves, we're like, that's over. Now we've won again against Spurs, where it's on. But I think the opportunity is there, because whilst Wolves was a bad defeat, we've made up for it with a win that we wouldn't have expected.
Yeah, I think the approach I'm taking is the approach I came into this game with, which is, this is a nice opportunity to just have a bit of fun. Like, it's a really nice chance to just try and enjoy football for 9 games. Ultimately, I don't think we've got enough in the tank. I think we'll fall short, and that's fine.
Of Europe?
Of Europe. I think we'll fall short, and that's fine, because we were never meant to be there in the first place.
Top 10?
Top 10's on. Top 10 is definitely on, but ultimately, am I going to be gutted if we finish 11th or 12th? No. I think these next 9 games are just like today was. I turned up today just thinking, it's not a huge amount riding on this. If we win, it's going to be great. And I think there was an element of freedom to that today in that performance. And I just think that you take these 9 games, you look, right, let's go and pick up some scalps. Can we ruffle some feathers? Can we go and beat Brentford at the G-Tech and stick them in a whole heap of trouble? That would be great fun. Just enjoy it. You know, it would be brilliant if Klopp's Liverpool rock up at Craven Cottage and we're like, you know, everything is going to be around Klopp and bowing out, and can they win the league? And actually, little old Fulham come out and do what they did today and just make it difficult and get big wins. I think that's how I'm looking at it. I'm not setting hopes up on this, because this is an unusual chance to just enjoy it. And you look at other teams that are like periodically mid-table. I'm thinking like a Palace. I think they're a little bit bored of that, but we've not really had the chance to get bored of that yet. I think we can revel in this now, in terms of, like, it's unusual to go into a game of football and be like, if we lose,
yeah,
fine. If we win, brilliant. I've had a nice day out. I've seen my mates. I've seen my dad. I've had a great day. That's my view.
Got quite deep and meaningful towards the end of the quick take today, but
it's an evening game. It's more time for. I had a couple of pints beforehand. It's just a little bit longer to drink.
All right, that'll do for the quick take today. Thank you so much for watching. Let us know who you thought was man of the match in the comments, what you thought of the game. We always love to hear from you. Dan, thank you.
Thank you, Sammy. That's been fun.
And we'll see you next time, Connie Whites.